The book is entitled Be a Better Dad Today by the Honorable Gregory Slayton, and it is selling in a very unique way. It's filling a niche because Greg Slayton, a man who has done so much in the business sector, taught at Dartmouth, Harvard, a father of four, had no father. Now, what motivated you?
Well, Jerry, first of all, it's great to see you. Great to be back on with you today. And what motivated me, first of all, is becoming a Christian, which I did in my senior year at Dartmouth College. And after living and working around the world and studying fatherhood, because I realized that I myself had not had any kind of role model, I married a wonderful Christian woman, and we raised 4 kids, a lot of storms, some difficulties, a lot of joy. And in that, I kept a journal for myself about fatherhood. You know, when I saw good dads, I kept a journal. When I saw guys who were not very successful as dads, I wrote it down. Some friends of mine said, Gregory, you're a good writer. Not sure they were true. Not sure that was true, but I enjoyed the compliment. In any event, they really encouraged me to put a book together. At first, I kind of resisted it, but as I looked at it, I saw there was a real need for just a hands-on book for guys. This is a man's book for men about how to be a better dad. It's filled with tools and ideas and put it to work sections, and I'm thankful because it's done a whole lot better than anybody expected.
The late Chuck Colson gives the foreword, and you give a toolkit.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about it.
Well, sure. It's the 10, I call it the 10 tools every father needs. In fact, that's the subtitle of the book, and probably it should have been the title of the book because that's the key part of it. You know, we dads realize that we need tools to do anything, whether it's repairing our children's bicycle or building a successful television network or whatever it might be. We need the right tools. And what I've seen around the world is that successful dads, and I've studied fatherhood on 5 different continents, successful dads generally deploy a series of tools. None of us have I've never met a dad that has successfully mastered all the 10 tools, but usually most of us dads have 2 or 3 pretty handy tools that we use a lot, 2 or 3 that are okay, and 2 or 3 that frankly need work. And that's true for me as well as I think every dad. So enlisting the tools in helping dads understand them and put them to work in their own lives, I'm hoping to, one, be a better dad myself and help fellow fathers to themselves, you know, go forward.
Why has the book sold so much?
I think it really has met a need. When you look at fatherhood books, there's some real good ones out there, but a lot of them are either really theoretical or kind of humor books, or this is neither. This is just very much a set of tools from one. You know, basically, we're on a fatherhood journey together and trying to help basically get better at the fatherhood task. You
lecture in the Ivy League school, so you know about the trends of the country. What about the single parents that don't have a father, and they're listening to you today, and they're saying, "But Gregory, I'd love to have that, but my husband left a long time ago." What do they do? Well,
it's different, of course, single moms and single dads. We have an entire chapter for single dads.
Good.
Because single dads, for whatever reason, that you're single, divorce, death, something else. We also have a chapter for blended families because families come in all shapes and sizes these days, but the role of the father is critical. You know, Jerry, some from the far left in the U.S. would have us believe that, oh no, father's kind of optional, not really important. In point of fact, that's completely untrue. Both all the scientific research and the historical research really indicates that fatherhood is critical. And by historical research, I mean when you look back at every single culture we know of in the entirety of human history, there's never been a time when fathers weren't an important part of the family and of society. And that's not going to change anytime soon.
Now, the Leave It to Beaver dad has left the country, so to speak, and the sitcoms make a traditional marriage and the good father kind of a buffoon. Why do they do this, since it's such a cultural pillar in our society?
It's a good question. U.S. sitcoms in the United States, the large majority of people who are watching them are women. And there's some thought that they're kind of trying to cater to some segment of women who have maybe had a bad experience with their husbands or with men, and I respect that. That is sometimes reality. But my challenge is not to the women of North America. My challenge is to the guys.
Right.
Look, we are the ones who have to earn our wife and our family's love and respect by being servant leaders. In fact, there's a chapter, one of the tools, the 10 tools, one of the tools is servant leadership. And that's tough because none of us want to be servants. But as I point out in the book, not only is it the right way to grow and help your family to develop, but also it's the way that we ourselves find the men that God always intended us to be.
I want you to look in the camera just over my shoulder. This weekend is Father's Day. And would you talk to our audience? Talk to dads. What can they do to kind of kickstart this whole thing? So many fathers know they're not doing what they need to be doing. I just want you to address the dads and take 60 seconds. If you could sum this book up in a minute.
Love to.
What would you
Thank
say
you,
to
Jerry.
them?
Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks for being a father. It is the most important job that any of us guys are ever going to have. I don't care whether your title is president or prime minister or ambassador or senator or CEO. All those jobs are coming to an end, and some of them are coming to an end quicker than we might want. Your job as a father and my job as a father is a job of eternity, and it's a job that has the capacity to bring almost unlimited joy and, frankly, almost unlimited sorrow. So devote, and I don't care, even if you haven't been the best dad or you're estranged from your family, maybe you're further than you'd like from your children, you can get back and be their father again. Because the reality is you're the leader of your family. And there's a whole section in the book which talks about getting back together with your children and really, re-cementing those bonds. I strongly encourage you, brother, there's nothing more important in life than fatherhood. I guarantee you there is nobody who says on his deathbed, I wish I spent more time at the office. So take that right now and get back with the kids. Father's Day is coming up. Again, there's a whole section in the book about kind of how to have a rapprochement, as the French say, with your family if you need that. And if you don't, if things are pretty good, hey, thank God, and just remember that being a good dad is the most important thing you are ever going to do.
Now, Greg, something special is happening when people buy your book this month. Tell us.
Well, yes, indeed. This month we have a foundation called the Fellowship of Fathers Foundation. And the foundation is making sure that for every book that is sold this month at retail, including those sold out of your e-store, and by the way, I appreciate you all doing that, a book will be given to a member of the U.S. or Canadian Armed Forces. And this is in part because my dad was a U.S. naval officer, and then he came back and he decided to abandon the family. So one of the things we're given 100% of the royalties to Christian fatherhood and family charities, including the Fellowship of Fathers Foundation, and they have a large program to bless U.S. and now Canadian military fathers as well. And by the way, if there are anyone in the Canadian Armed Forces, or maybe you got a son or a daughter or something in the Canadian Armed Forces, go to fellowshipoffathersfoundation.org, fellowshipoffathersfoundation.org, and make sure that your son or daughter in the U.S. or Canadian Armed Forces know about this program, because we want to be a blessing to them. And hopefully for those readers who go and purchase the book at your e-store, they'll know that it's going to be a double blessing, hopefully to the dad in their lives, but also to a member of the U.S. or Canadian Armed Forces, one of the fathers on whom we all depend.
Get the book. It's at our e-store. Thanks, Greg, for being with us.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. Good to see you.